there, and welcome back to the Fed Talks. My name is Nathan Hall, and today we're talking about the continued growth of illegal tobacco and vape products, its impact on overall sales, and how proposed legislations could make things even worse. Today we're joined by Mo Razak, who's the Fed's national president. Mo, how are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
Wonderful. Good to have you on, Mo. So we recently spoke to you about the huge issue of retail crime, and this topic of illicit trade, tobacco and vaping, it's heavily linked, isn't it? It's very closely linked.
Yeah, it definitely is. I know we spoke recently about in the Fed Talks about the retail crime survey which we put out, and the results were quite startling because 72% of our members were telling us how they suffered from retail crime in the last 12 months. The theft of goods from the member stores that feed into the illicit market then leads to no tax being paid to the government. For example, tobacco is far cheaper prices, which leads to increasing demand on illicit goods. And the knock-on effect is less footfall for our member stores, and that in turn impacts on the sales of goods in our store as well. So it's having a massive knock-on effect to our members.
Okay, Mo, so it's clear to see the connection between the two topics, but we focus purely on illicit trade. Just how big of a problem is it, and what are the key products that are involved?
Well, the key products are tobacco and vape, and legal sale of them mostly affect our members. And even the data coming from Tobacco Manufacturers Association, the figures that they're telling us are that 80% of smokers have purchased products, illicit tobacco products and vapes within the last year, compared to 73% in 2022. Two-thirds of the consumers have blamed the tax hikes and the increasing cost of living for their change in their purchasing habits. The Independent British Vape Trade Association reported in 2024 that illicit vape products are estimated to be worth a third of the total vape market. So selling the counterfeit and the non-tobacco products, it's not a victimless crime because it damages legitimate retail and businesses, and it also damages the community. And for more data, in 2000, HM Revenue and Customer estimated that it's £54.3 billion in tax revenue has been lost due to illegal sales of cigarettes and hand-rolling tobacco products in UK. That's more than 2 billion every year, and I feel that that is increasing. Children and young people are often targeted for these selling of legal vapes and tobacco. They don't care less. They don't honestly care less whether the person's over 18 or not. They're only in it for the money. They're in it for the profit. The people selling these products, the counterfeit and illegal products, are not concerned about the risks to the customer's health, as many of the products contain dangerous and illegal levels of toxic chemicals.
So more what you've said there gives me the idea that everyone's losing, the retailers, of course, but the public and the government too. Do you see those increases you mentioned and getting worse over time as well?
The generation smoking ban, which is now being progressed in Westminster, is more likely to make black market more attractive. The proposed legislation is making it an offence for anyone born after January the 1st, 2009 to be legally sold tobacco. That effectively is raising the smoking age year on year until it applies to the whole population. The banning of the sale of these products in legitimate outlets is going to mean that the government is simply handing out a blank check to rogue dealers on social media, street corners, on our school gates, and also it's going to make the illicit trade a lot more attractive.
Okay, so more like we did with retail crime, we've run a survey with Fed members around their opinion on the whole matter of illicit trade. Could you give us an understanding on what our members told us?
I'd like to thank firstly the members for the feedback and responding to our surveys. The results were quite simple and show what our members feel. We asked during the last 12 months, are you aware of an increase in customers buying illicit tobacco and vapes from criminals and shops? 78% said yes. Are you aware of specific places near your shop which sell illicit tobacco and vapes? Over half said yes. Have you reported local traders of illicit products to authorities? More than two-thirds said no. And their comment suggested that they saw that the reporting is a waste of time. We also asked, do you believe that trading standards is doing enough to tackle illicit trade in your locality? A massive 77% said no, they didn't. And finally, we asked, do you believe that the proposed generational smoking ban and the bans on disposable vapes will increase the demand for illicit products? A massive 93% said yes, it will make things even worse. You can clearly see from these questions just how big the issue is for our members, and they clearly feel the proposed bans on tobacco and the vapes is actually going to compound the problem and issues.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Mo. Every single one of those figures there, numbers really, are quite shocking, aren't they?
Yes, definitely are. The proposed legislation is going to have an impact on our members who sell tobacco responsibly, rather than the ones who trade illegally and irresponsibly. That's why we are asking the government to invest more resources to enable our trading standard officers, to combat the rogue traders. And the asks we're asking the government are very simple: on the spot fines of at least £200 for breaches of regulations for selling to underage. Tougher penalties for illicit tobacco suppliers will help protect our members. And finally, trading standards to have HMRC powers to issue on-the-spot fines of up to £10,000 for those breaching the tobacco track and trace regulations.
So, Mo, it's great that all of our members have made their opinions so clear. What would you say the next steps are for the Fed, and what do you suggest to retailers and Fed members that are watching this video?
Well, I would say that the Federation will continue to share our members' concerns and thoughts with both the trade media, local media, national government and local government and policymakers, and also influences at all levels. But we need our members to also make their voice heard. Until the new government understands the issues, my ask for this is that I would urge all my members to contact their local MP to share their concerns, speak to our local councillors, engage with the police and the crime commissioners. And finally, please do report all incidents of illegal vape and tobacco stockists that are trading in your area to trading standards. The details will be on the screen at the end of this recording. We know that a massive 67% of members in our survey said that they do not report illicit traders. We can understand the frustration, and also that they feel that the reporting does not make a difference. But we really need to keep highlighting the concern of the problem and the scale of the problem. And by not reporting this, we're just masking the problem. Also, the reason is that if the police are not given the information, then the statistics they compile will be skewed as well. And then that will make life a lot easier for the rogue trader and a lot harder for us.
Thank you for joining us today, Mo, again. Clearly, this is a massive issue, and it doesn't only just impact our members, but it creates a massive risk to the health of the public. It fuels organised crime and it robs the government of revenue, which then impacts all of us with cuts to services and higher household taxes. To add your voice to the debate, follow the details that will be coming up on the screen on how you can take further steps as an individual. But please keep following the Fed for more information on this and other key topics affecting retailers across the nation. But for now, thank you for watching.